leaders. Hello, this is Elizabeth and Elton Brewington. We just heard from Colonel Donna Ford, a 9/11 Pentagon survivor, and we also heard from Dr. Brenda, who was on 9/11 in Wall Street near Church Street, who also survived. And there's so many people with so many stories. And as Donna said, we cannot forget this day. It's very, very important that we remember it. Um, I'd like to say that September is a very big month. There's so much to talk about. And so we also have the Constitution Day. And I have here Major Harold Caldwell, who's going to do a brief presentation and tell us a little bit about the Constitution and remind us, go back, go back, go back, where we came from.
Mhm.
Over to you.
Okay,
Brother Caldwell,
I like to say good evening. Yes, sir.
how are you, man? Good to see
Oh,
you.
I thought you had something you want to tell. But it is a great honor being able to be amongst and to be with people who have personally experienced the tragedy of 9/11, and what it actually does is brings us closer to what's going on, other than just watching it on TV. Because I was working with the newspaper then, and I came in from an advertising sales meeting, and some people were crowded around the TV set in the newsroom, and this is what they were looking at, and it was prior to the airplanes hitting. Period. And I was wondering what in the world they were looking at, and as I saw the airplanes, the first airplane going into the building, it I thought they were looking at a movie, you know, and that goes to show you that those of us who were a distant away, uh, we sympathize with those who were there, uh, and there's no way that we can express the hurt and the pain and the agony of those who were there, and just like Brother Brewington said, um, our prayers go out to you, and we thank you for being able to survive such a catastrophe. And this is a segue somewhat into our what our country is about, and that is the Constitution of the United States, as we're going to talk about a little bit about the Constitution. And just a little bit of stuff, a little bit of things, few things about it. And here's it: the Constitution of the United States is the supreme law of the United States, and it superseded the Article of Confederation, the nation's, and so it's the nation's first constitution, originally comprising of seven articles. It delineates the national frame of government. Its first article embodies the doctrine of separation of powers, whereby the federal government is divided into three branches, and three branches: the legislative, consisting of bicameral Congress, which is actually just the two places, the Senate and the House of Representatives is the two parts of the Congress. It delineates the executive board, the executive rather, consisting of the president and subordinate officers, and that's in Article 2, and the judicial, consisting of the Supreme Court and other federal courts, which is Article 3. Now, Article 4, 5, and 6 embody concepts of federation this country has, and describing the rights and responsibilities of state government, and the state in relationship to the federal government. And that's why we have the church, the separation of state, government, state, and church and state, and all these other things that are going on within our government, and the rights and responsibilities of state governments, and the shared process of constitutional amendment. Article 7 establishes the procedures subsequently used by the 13 states to ratify it. It is regarded as the oldest written and codified national constitution in force. Now, since the Constitution came into force in 1789, it has been amended 27 times, 27 times, including one amendment that repeated a previous one. Now, if you go to other countries, you may not find as many changes and other things that are going on within the Constitution, but our country seems to continuously want to change and make things move better in the way of the citizens of the United States as we go through transformations and changes and different things. It requires changes, and there are other things that we find out that we didn't do so well or didn't make certain great decisions years ago. This may be the time when we can make those changes. So the Congress and the Constitution is set up so these amendments can be placed in general. The first 10 amendments, known collectively as the Bill of Rights, offer specific protections of individuals' liberty and justice, and place restrictions on the powers of government. I know maybe we don't see as many restrictions today as it should be, but in all, it's in the Constitution that we have the power to do these things. Others address issues related to federal authority and modify government processes and procedures. And amendments to the United States Constitution, unlike ones made to many constitutions worldwide, are appended to the document. They are appended to the document. That means that they are a part of that document. Of course, there's some things they have to, each time, every term it comes around, they may have to re-vote and re-talk about it and reissue it, but it is still part of the Constitution. And the original United States Constitution was written on 4 pages of parchment, 4 pages of parchment. Now, according to the United States, the Constitution's first 3 words, "We the people," affirm that the government of the United States exists to serve its citizens. And for over 2 centuries, the Constitution has remained in force because its framers wisely separated and balanced governmental powers to safeguard the interests of majority rule and minority rights, of liberty and equality, and of the federal and state governments. The first permanent Constitution, it is interpreted, supplemented, and implemented by a large body of federal constitution law, and has influenced the constitutions of other nations. There are other nations that have made their constitutions, I guess you might say, or laws and things, pattern somewhat after ours. And so to me, the Constitution of the United States is, I'd say too, just like it said here, one of the greatest documents put out. And it means to me that there are certain rights and things that we as citizens all over this country are supposed to have, and that we can have, and that we have the rights to stand up and appeal certain laws. We have the rights to approach other laws, and where there are changes that are needed to be made, we have the right to approach those things. And so I just like to say that the Constitution, is quite an important document as far as I am concerned. Being military and everything else, And going to other countries, visiting other countries, you don't hear as much about other countries' constitutions. However, ours is, I mean, it's blurted all over the world. More, ours is well known. So as it being well known, more people are more adjusted to it, and there are more people more and more familiar with it. And what I'd like to ask those of you who, if anyone would like to say, let us know, what does the Constitution mean to you? And that's a question I'm putting out to all of you. And you have a privilege to answer that right now.
Oh, good question. Very good question. Wow. I won't be the first. I have my answer. But it's for someone who does have their own. What does the Constitution mean to you? Woo! All right. Any respondents? Donna, tell us. Come on, Donna.
Well, I think, Harold summed it up. Most people in the military served in other countries, right? And we saw how a lot of countries have governments that abuse their own people, take advantage of their own people,
Right.
don't respect and honor the contributions of their citizens. We have a constitution to protect this nation and its people. And I love what he read there. It's a government by and for the people, right? And that's the Constitution we have. We have a country that literally is by and for its people. And when you can absorb that as an adult and realize how meaningful that is, whether you go to a foreign land or not, you recognize that we're very blessed to be citizens of this country and to have the freedoms that we have that are guaranteed by Constitution that recognizes that free men and women deserve to live their lives in freedom. And I'm so blessed that, because like Harold said, I've been to some countries where the citizens were treated very, very poorly by their own government. And I saw it firsthand. So when you get back to the United States, you go, we should be so grateful we live in this wonderful place called America.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we have a piece of paper to go to where things are written where we are to be protected. Now, it may not work all the time. It may not, be respected by everyone. However, we do have a document in place, and that is the Constitution of the United States.
Well said. Well said. It's important to know, and it's also very, what's the word? We belong to something. We belong to this country. This country belongs to us, and that we are inspired to do greater good. And so well said, Harold and Donna. And we're not going to take long on our broadcast tonight, but we do want to take these moments, and we want to hear from a few more people about the chosen subject matter.
Right.
But it's important that we understand how big this is, how big we are, and what we have the capacities to do, be, and to share. And so, I'm hopeful that tonight, just the fact that you are part of something bigger than you know, and even when you're talking to your family, your relatives, your friends, that they know it too, that they know that they belong to an important vessel, an important unit, and just that unity in itself gives us the capacity to overcome so many things. So
if you're watching on Facebook or Instagram, write us a comment.
Right.
What does the Constitution mean to you?
Right.
And tell us what you think, and I'll make sure that in the link you'll find a way to get a copy for free of the Constitution.
Okay.
So I'd like to move on with the program. You're watching Brightside Global Trade. Make sure that you subscribe, brightsideglobaltrade.org. Thank you for watching.
All right.
Okay.